Audrey Werro just did something brutal to Femke Bol in the 800 meters. Femke smashed a Dutch record that stood since 1992, and she still lost. She still came in second place. Now look close at the finish gap because it is tiny, and once you see it, this rivalry looks totally different. It happened on August 21, 2026. The women's 800 meters at the Lausanne Diamond League gave fans one of the tightest finishes all season. Werro had the home crowd screaming for her. Femke was chasing another huge step in her very first outdoor season at 800 meters. Both women showed up in serious shape. This was not just another Diamond League race. This was a race where two records fell at the exact same finish line. Werro attacked from the gun. The pacemaker, Merel van de Schoot, blasted through 400 meters in 54.64 seconds. Werro stuck right on that pace. She did not hold back at all. The official Atletissima report said Werro hit the halfway mark about 2 seconds faster than Jarmila Kratochvílová did during her 1:53.28 world record run back in 1983. That first lap sent a clear message. Werro was not just racing for the win, she wanted a fast, big time in front of her home crowd. But here's the problem. An 800-meter race punishes anyone who burns too much energy too soon, and that made the second lap pure tension. Werro held the lead, but things started shifting fast. Ethiopia's Sayedida Asifa pushed into the fight and put on the pressure. Right behind them, Femke stayed close, staying dangerous. Then the final bend hit, and Femke still had one big move left in the tank. Werro had already spent so much energy up front, and now that hard first lap was catching up to her. Femke turned on the jets down the home straight. The gap kept shrinking with every single step. It looked more and more like Femke could snatch this race right at the line. Werro barely held on. She crossed the line in 1:55.33. Femke finished right behind in 1:55.41, just 0.08 seconds apart. Sehe grabbed third in 1:56.92. 0.08 of a second decided this whole race, but both women walked away with something huge and historic.
The weather made Werro's bold move even crazier. Atletissima reported temps of only 17 to 18 degrees Celsius, cool conditions, and she still fired off a blazing first lap anyway. She never got the smooth second half she was hoping for, but she stayed tough. She held strong when Sehe attacked. She held strong when Femke came flying at her at the end. Werro's time of 1:55.33 smashed the Lausanne meeting record, and Femke's 1:55.41 became the new Dutch national record. That Dutch record carried a massive story. Ellen van Langen ran 1:55.54 to win Olympic gold in Barcelona on August 3, 1992. For 34 years, no Dutch woman ran faster. Femke finally broke that mark in Lausanne. But here is the wild part. Even a national record was not enough to win the race. There is one more crazy detail. Femke had already tied Van Langen's 1:55.54 at the European Championships in Birmingham on August 14, 2026. She walked into Lausanne on August 21st, already even with one of the biggest records in Dutch history. Then she shaved off another 0.13 seconds, and Werro was still ahead of her. Werro also crushed another record that night. Keely Hodgkinson set the old Lausanne meeting record at 1:55.69 on August 20, 2025. Werro blew past that by 0.36 seconds, giving her home fans a win and another record in a season where she keeps raising the bar. This race also exposed how different these two runners are right now. Werro attacked early and tried to control the whole race from the front. Femke played it patient, then let loose the speed that made her one of the greatest 400-meter hurdlers on the planet for a huge closing kick. After the race, Werro admitted she felt more tired than usual. She had raced the European final on August 14 and then raced again in Lausanne just a week later on August 21. Still, she was thrilled she found a way to win. Femke left with a totally different feeling, more confidence that she belongs with the best 800-meter runners on Earth, but also a clear sense of where she still needs to grow. Femke said she needs to trust herself more after the 500-meter mark, instead of holding back and protecting herself too much. And that matters a lot, because Lausanne was not some race where she got destroyed and needs a total rebuild. She broke a national record. She lost by just 0.08 seconds, and she still believes she had more left in the tank. That is the real bombshell out of Lausanne. Werro is still winning, but Femke is learning fast, and that makes every rematch more dangerous.
Now look at their 4 outdoor meetings in 2026, because the change is impossible to miss. Their first clash came at the Ostrava Golden Spike on June 16, 2026. That was Femke's very first outdoor 800-meter race ever. Werro won it in 154.45. Femke finished second in 157.13. That is a massive gap of 2.68 seconds. Then on June 28, 2026, they met again at the Paris Diamond League. Werro got even faster, winning in 153.80, the third fastest women's 800-meter time in history. Femke made a huge leap too, running 155.60. That shrunk the gap down to just 1.80 seconds. Paris was also a warning sign. It showed the Dutch record was about to fall. Femke's 155.60 left her only 0.06 seconds off Van Langen's 155.54. Then she tied that record in Birmingham on August 14. Then she finally owned it alone with 155.41 in Lausanne on August 21. Across 3 huge races, that target went from almost in reach to tied to fully broken. Then came the European Championships in Birmingham on August 14, 2026. Werro took the title with a championship record of 154.81. Olympic champion Keely Hodgkinson came second in 155.01. Femke grabbed bronze in 155.54, tying the Dutch national record, finishing just 0.73 seconds behind Werro. Then, on August 21 in Lausanne, the gap shrunk again. It was not 2.68 seconds anymore. It was not 1.80. It was not even 0.73. It dropped all the way down to 0.08 seconds. So here is the simple number line: 2.68, then 1.80, then 0.73, then 0.08. That is every single time Werro and Femke have raced each other outdoors at 800 meters in 2026. Femke's story is almost the total opposite because she is brand new to this event. On October 10, 2025, she made a huge announcement. She was switching her focus from the 400-meter hurdles to the 800 meters for 2026. She walked away from an event where she was already a 2-time world champion. She jumped into a race that demands a completely different kind of pacing. Now she faces reigning world champion Lilian Odira and European 1500-meter champion Georgia Hunter-Bell. That gives both Werro and Femke another massive test against some of the strongest names in the sport. So Lausanne might just be the warning shot before an even bigger showdown. Werro has now won all 4 of their outdoor 800-meter meetings in 2026, but Femke has turned a 2.68-second blowout loss into a fight decided by 0.08 of a second. Femke broke a 34-year-old Dutch record in Lausanne, and she still couldn't get past Audrey Werro. That sounds brutal, but it might also be the clearest sign yet that this rivalry is changing fast. Werro is still the woman out front. Femke is still the one chasing her down, but if that gap keeps shrinking the way it has since June 16, the next finish line might tell a very different story.